welcome to O'Malley Gym Podcast number 4. We have future professional bodybuilder Ryan Foster.
I hate it when people put that in their Instagram bio, but
Hashtag.
yeah, hashtag future pro.
I think that's an automatic.
It's automatic. You're not getting.
Yeah, you're not
automatic.
Getting
You're not ever getting your pro card.
He would never do that because he's not
No.
a douchebag.
No.
But we can
I'll
say it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay when other people say
I'll
it
take
about
that.
you, but not when you say it about yourself.
Absolutely.
You can internalize it, but don't say that shit out loud.
Okay, so we're going to pass on the gym news this week due to current conditions.
Fuck
And
Kate Brown.
we're going to introduce a new
Demonetized.
Yeah.
Shadow banned already.
a
Yeah.
new segment called Gym Tips. I did gym tips on Instagram and it went pretty well. These will be different gym tips because we don't have equipment in here, so
Right.
but there'll be a learning experience.
Is that tips with a Z at the end of it?
Oh, that would be cool.
And it's Tuesday.
Oh.
Tuesday tip. I think that's
Yeah,
the thing.
Tuesday tip day.
Nick Walker does that, right?
I don't want to be plagiarizing.
Yeah, we can't believe it. Don't.
There's Transformation Tuesday. Everybody uses
Yeah.
the day of the week with a. What's
So,
that?
Timmy
Alliteration.
Tuesday tip day.
Timmy's Tuesday tips.
I don't have Timmy. Figure that out.
All right. It just sounds better.
It does.
So we're going to discuss a different topic each week, and some will be not as intense, easy to learn, but you're going to have 4 bodybuilders discussing a general topic. And for the first one I picked, the differences between circuit training and body part training and the advantages. So I'm going to open up with why you would circuit train or why you would body part train as according to if your goal is something to do with your shaping your body, either burning fat or adding muscle. If you have other alternative motives for the gym, like being a circus clown or a linebacker or some shit, that's all different kind of training that we're not going to get into pretty much ever. So we're going to stick with going to the gym for what you look like naked,
Right.
burning fat and adding muscle. So for
So you're
that,
not going to be talking about Bosu ball squat to overhead press.
right, right, or CrossFit, or
Same
that's
thing.
exercising to become good at exercising.
Right.
We're talking about exercising to change the way you look.
Is that what powerlifting is though?
So powerlifting is.
You're kind of being the best at exercise, right?
You got me on that.
I
one.
got you, dude.
You got me.
Well, it's different though because it's the best
It
at
is
lifting
you.
weights,
Right.
not exercise.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got you there on that
Fair
one.
enough. Thanks.
So the first way we'll attack this one is when your goal is to burn fat. Why would you choose body part training over circuit training? Now, when we say body part training, we mean you have a chest day, and that's all you train to go to the gym. And then you have a back day, shoulder day, and it's worked out some way like that. Where circuit training, you go from body part to body part in the same workout. You might jump from a shoulder machine to a leg machine to a chest machine.
It seems to be very popular within like high school fitness classes or whatever. If you have like 0 period, I remember we'd always
Body
do circuit
beat,
training.
circuit training.
Yeah, circuit training. Or like football, like summer workouts in the gym. It was like circuit training all the time.
Yeah. And it'll work for gaining muscle for a very short period of time. Then it becomes ineffective because you cannot train the muscle enough for it to advance when you're doing every muscle on your body.
Yeah. I think even back in high school, if I remember right, that we would start the summer out doing circuit training, and then as it progressed, we worked into more body part training.
Mhm.
So I feel like even in 1998, they knew that.
Oh yeah. So when fat burning, a lot of people, I've seen this mistake. They go to they go to circuit training for fat burning, thinking they're burning more calories because they're running around the gym working all kinds of muscles. But really, how it works, when you break down, let's say you take your chest and you break it down entirely, it's going to take 5 days for that muscle to recover itself. So for 24 hours a day, for 5 days to a week, that muscle is causing energy to be consumed and repairing itself non-stop. And then when, let's say, the next day you work another body part, arms, it's broken down and recovering for 5 days. So during any given day, you have 4 body parts recovering themselves using energy to get better. When you circuit train, the workout's basically done when you're done. Your calories are spent and over when the workout, because you don't need to recover from doing one shoulder exercise.
That makes sense.
Right.
And also, when your muscles are recovering, the insulin receptors on them are turned on, so your food wants to go to a muscle that wants recovered. So you're more likely to store the food you eat in your muscle as opposed to fat, which is why weightlifters get away with eating so many damn calories and not getting big and fat.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the same thing with if you're doing like HIIT instead of your steady state, it kind of keeps your calories keep burning after that.
Right. I think one of the most important parts about strength training or body part training and increasing your lean muscle tissue is that people are only thinking about during the workout, and they're thinking about, so for instance, I see a lot of people investing a lot of time in cardio, and I think a couple episodes ago we talked about you do an hour of cardio, you get 300 calories or so, give or take a little bit depending on how hard you're going. Whereas if you increase your muscle tissue, excuse me,
COVID.
right? If you increase your muscle tissue, it will actually increase your resting metabolic rate. So if you really put a little bit more focus and time into increasing your muscle tissue, where if you're talking about 10 pounds of muscle, it's roughly the size of your fist spread over the entire part of your body. So the ladies that are always worried about looking too bulky, just think about 10 extra pounds on your body can increase your body's ability to burn roughly 500 calories at rest. Now, if you take that 500 calories and you do that every day, that's 3,500 calories a week, right? And 3,500 calories equates to about a pound of fat loss. So if you put yourself in a deficit of 3,500 calories, you will lose a pound of fat. So by just having that 10 pounds of extra muscle tissue, you're increasing your body's ability to lose body fat. So it carries a little bit more weight than I think some people realize. And those are rough figures, obviously.
Yeah, we're not doctors or scientists.
Yeah,
obviously.
I'm just throwing out some rough numbers and kind of a scale that we often talk about, and obviously that'll vary on the person and their metabolism, obviously. So I don't
So the
pretend that I
moral,
know.
the moral of the story is, if you're going to the gym to change your appearance, you want to set up a body part specific program as opposed to a circuit training program. And that'll vary on the days you have available to go to the gym. So if you only have 3 days for the gym, typically you'd have a lower body day, and then you'd have a push on the upper body day and a pull on the upper body day.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say, if you have 4 days, it seems like people do push pull type of thing, or push pull and then an accessory type day. So.
But basically, each muscle that you train gets hit and destroyed once per week, and it gets allowed to recover for a week. That's the goal. But you don't train it, because if you destroy a muscle and you train it again before it's healed, well, then you never got to see the results of that breakdown heal itself. You're just breaking yourself down repeatedly and not recovering.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're not training super hard.
I was gonna say, you should be training hard.
It should take you a full week to recover.
Especially legs.
Especially legs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm always screwed
After a
up.
week, there's still, it's just barely
I
time.
just feel like you can take another day or two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A week and a day.
When I hit legs one day, then I don't get recovered until maybe the day the next week that I do legs. So
If you can train a body part within 3 days of training it, you didn't do it right.
mm-hmm.
Time to go harder.
I think with arms though and things like that, I think you can get away with doing maybe a pump set for biceps on a back day if it's 2 or 3 days later, or even the next day. I think.
And that's another topic to introduce
yeah,
blood
exactly.
to a healing body part.
Rather than a
That's a
full
good one
tissue
for another
breakdown.
time.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we can definitely talk about that later.
That's a good topic for next week.
Yeah.
Good to go. Do you want to move into meeting our guest?
Let's meet our guest.
Okay. I'm Ryan Foster, 28 years old. I've been working out since I was 14. Started bodybuilding in 2018 competitively with Brandon. Got me out of a posing class. I was just a noob, and he saw a little bit of potential in me, so...
We all did, by the way.
Yeah,
I remember when you walked in.
I still felt small as fuck.
Oh, shit.
I still feel small as fuck to this day, but...
Let's get that guy with us. He's the truth.
That was funny because we're like, he's got to get with somebody. Either
I'm like, these
Tim
guys are
or
fucking with me.
Brandon, somebody. Like, he's got to get with somebody.
Yeah.
That's a cool part of the gym. I can't believe that somebody just walks in the door.
Yeah.
Brian just breathes in the door. Like, what the fuck? This place is cool.
I was like, this is heaven.
Now he's our family.
Yeah. No, I'm super grateful for the gym. The place I grew up training kind of changed over to like a CrossFit gym. Didn't have that hardcore feel anymore. I was kind of lost. And then
What gym did you? Oh,
it was in Hood River. Yeah, yeah. And it's still cool and everything. They still got the same, for the most part, the same equipment. But the whole atmosphere is totally
The
different
vibe.
now. You know, there's dudes walking around with their shirts off, little scrawny guys swinging up and down.
Also doing kipping pull-ups
Yeah.
and doing
Yeah.
power cleans and hang cleans.
They don't love the bodybuilders over there.
Yeah.
And I remember I was posing in the back, and somebody's like, "Put your clothes back on." I'm like,
As he's probably shirtless.
I'm
doing
fucking
kipping
shredded,
pull-ups.
and I actually look good. Like, should be happy. You guys don't have anybody else here that competes.
I look good.
I've been here before you.
I feel like a lot of people have that same story about our gym. I know we just beat it into the ground, but like it's after having what we have at that gym, I couldn't even imagine going back to another gym. Like it would, like I think about like how much I would love to move out of Oregon a lot of the times, and I'm like, but I wouldn't have.
Dude, I've had this conversation I don't know how many times.
I'm not leaving, dude, because of our gym. Like that's
It's one of the same, like, the reasons why I stay here. It's
Yeah.
because of the gym.
It's probably, I mean, of course, my family, but like that's my place I go to every day. Like I can't, like I won't even move out of Gresham.
Yeah.
You know, like because I'm like, you know, I would love to move, you know, somewhere like more central to where all my work is at. But I'm like, dude, that changes all the time. But the one place that I go to consistently is our gym. I'm like, there's.
Well, like me, I live in Vancouver, and I literally have an LA Fitness within 5 minutes of my house, and a 24 that's within 5 minutes of my house. But I will drive 25 to 30 minutes
Absolutely.
just to go to O'Malley's.
Yep.
Oh, when I first found it, I was in Hood River still. And I was
Oh, yeah, you
it's
made that.
45, 50
I made
minutes.
that truck all the time.
I made it like
Yeah.
every day for a while, and I was like, I don't care, man. After a long ass day, I was doing manual labor, and I still go out there and train till fucking midnight some nights. And
Yeah.
Well, it's almost, I hate to say this, it's kind of cliche, but it's like a church in a way. People will go drive however far just to go to church sometimes. So, just because they like the atmosphere and it's soothing and it's therapeutic.
yeah,
And
It's
now-
essential.
And now you're training people out of it.
Yeah.
yeah. So I started personal training because manual labor is fucking killing me. I've been doing painting houses since
You're
I was
still
a kid.
doing that a little bit.
Yeah, I
right?
still do that. I still have my company, but dude, the bigger I got, the harder it got to climb up those big ass ladders,
Dude.
and then I'm dieting, and then I'm tired as shit and kind of lightheaded going up and down ladders. I'm like, this isn't safe.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So I just started training, and it's picking up pretty good, but you know, I'm still doing a little bit of painting, but just keeping with like single level houses and ground level shit.
It's nice to be able to pick and choose.
Yeah. No more like 3-story condos. I did that, and I was way over the weight capacity for the ladder, and it's bending every step I take going up.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, today's gonna be the day. I'm gonna fucking fall, and there's gonna be no bodybuilding. So
I was going to say, your bodybuilding career could be done,
right,
potentially.
I'm like, dude,
So
I get worried
confident.
about even tearing a pec or something like that. I'm like, if I fall and I can't, no, I'm already not like.
Dude, ladders are freaky. I don't like them.
Yeah.
I work. I don't mind heights when I'm at work. Working on a aerial lift or a scissor lift, if there's like a flat surface, I'm good, dude. But ladders freak me the fuck out. Like we have I think it's an extended ladder. It's somewhere between right now like 20 to 25 feet to our roof hatch. And I get up on that thing and it starts flexing and shit.
Yeah.
It freaks me out. And there's like other trades that have come up to me like that are like a little bit sketched out by it. And they're like, hey dude, have you went up that ladder? And I'm like, yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Like, all right, well, if you made it, then I'll go. Like, cause I'm.
But I mean,
clearly
most of
the
those are
heaviest
like
dude out there.
300-pound max capacity, and you're well over that.
Yeah.
Especially if you're carrying up any equipment
Tools,
with
oh,
you.
yeah.
I'll be carrying like a whole sprayer with me, or like a ladder on top of that. I'm like, dude, because I did have one bust in half one time. It was a 20-footer, and it kind of slipped a little bit, caught it, broke it in half, and fell back and busted my ass. And
Oh my god.
I've been terrified ever since. I still do it because it's good money, but
Yeah.
Were you like kind of your size still, or
I was like 220,
well,
a little bit, still pretty big.
you had
but-
some muscle on your ass to protect it?
Yeah.
Yeah, big boys don't fall gracefully.
No, man.
Anytime I take a fall at work, dude, it's like, it's bad, dude. It hurts.
I used to be so athletic and like
Yeah.
flexible, and not anymore. I try to stretch, but it's you're not going to be as limber as a 180 pounder.
No.
Like,
No, I get like dudes at work just run circles around me doing something. I move pretty good for a big guy, but most of the guys that I work with are probably 170 to 200 pounds. I'm like, man, that looks like it feels really good to be able to move that way. What's that even like?
be nice.
Yeah.
So where do we have people contact you if they want training?
All right, so my email is fosterphysiques@gmail.com, or on my Instagram, RyanFoster67.
How long have you been training now?
So I've been certified for like 3 years, and I've just kind of been doing it for fun on the side. But just this year, I started actually like coaching some people, like just getting started, and it's pretty good so far. I got like 8 or 9 clients right now, and
Yeah.
doing some online coaching, and people seem to be making progress. So
Yeah, I've seen some of your stories and
Yeah, you
pictures
got
of
a
people.
couple.
Yeah.
yeah, I got one buddy who's made a huge transformation in a short amount of time because he follows the plan.
Weird.
Like perfectly. So, and like even the water and everything like that, like people don't understand. Like you gotta track it, or you gotta like pay attention to how much water you're drinking. You think that you're getting water when you're having tea or something like that. I'm like, no, that doesn't count.
No.
Like Gatorade doesn't count. Just regular water.
Right. So, do you feel like this, like working in the gym, is going to be a little bit more conducive to? I mean, I guess it kind of is.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
just
Already.
being at the gym is going to be.
Yeah. I mean, in the winter months for painting, it slowed down anyways for me. So I kind of planned on picking up more training in the winter and stuff like that, and just working on growing and not crawling up and down ladders and hauling my tools around everywhere, and just going to the gym and back every day and being in that atmosphere, like as much as possible, and being around like-minded people rather than, contractors. They got a totally different mentality.
Right.
They're making fun of you for eating.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chicken
I'm
and
taking
rice.
3 lunch breaks, and they're like not taking any. I'm like, I'm good at what I do, but I still gotta eat. So
Yeah, you don't get as big as you without eating a shitload of food.
no.
Let's talk about so you've competed one time.
Yep.
Let's talk about your first experience on getting to the stage. Like, what was that like for you? Like, I mean, you've been training. You decided you want to compete. Like, take us through that.
Yeah.
That prep. Like, how did like some of the ups and downs, and what did you feel like after you competed? What did you feel like before you competed? And
It was totally night and day from what I was doing. I was training hard. Like, since I started lifting, I've always trained hard, and like the first thing I ever did was just deadlifts. I was just always doing deadlifts, and then squats, all the basic power movements. And my diet was all right. I pretty much just did chicken and rice because I just looked up on the internet, and that's the only thing that I really knew.
Right.
So I was up to like 230, 240, I think, like that. But then when we started working together, and I got like an actual diet plan, and it's totally different than just eyeballing everything. Like, that's the first time I started weighing my food out and just being super disciplined in all of it, and the cardio and everything. And it was a lot harder than I thought.
you really?
There's a big difference in, like, I thought I was a bodybuilder before, but I was just a gym rat.
Right.
And so, like, some of these people, it's like, you can be a bodybuilder that doesn't compete, but I think you kind of have to follow a diet and, like, look like
Go
a
through that grind.
look like a bodybuilder
Yeah.
to some extent and not just train. So that was the main difference, and I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
What got you into bodybuilding initially? Because I know you were really into it back in high school, right?
Yeah. So I was super skinny, which I didn't like, and I played sports and everything, and
Yeah, we'll have to post some of
I
those
saw that picture you posted.
Man.
I posted a few.
The leg one? Yeah.
I thought I was huge.
With that thigh gap. Yeah, we got to post that at some point in this, that before and after. 'Cause
Yeah, I was just remembering all that, and so my brother had got a personal trainer, and he was a bodybuilder. So I was like a freshman in high school, and he started taking me to the gym, and I was like, there was a couple big dudes. I was like, fuck yeah, that's what I want to do. And it was like a hardcore gym back then. So
Your
they,
brother
like,
was a bodybuilder?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He never competed or anything, but he was getting pretty.
Does he
pretty
still
stout.
train and stuff? Or?
Not right now,
Yeah.
but I'm getting back into it.
Nice.
But yeah, he took me there to the gym, and I just saw the bodybuilders. It was like hardcore old school bodybuilding, just rusty weights and shit like that, and yeah, that's all
That
I
was
did.
it.
I just started hanging out with the older kids that were big, and I said, I'm gonna compete one of these days. But I never felt big enough until I was 25 years old, and I was like 220
Yeah.
on stage.
Going off
222.
of that, what got you into bodybuilding? I think we should go do a roundtable on that since we're
Yeah.
on the topic. We haven't talked about it.
So I grew up pretty fluffy. I mean, like I carry that kind of body type anyways, and I always trained for football and stuff, and I was like a relatively big kid, and then it's really weird. I can remember the night like it was yesterday. I went to the store and I got this. It was like a Flex magazine or a Muscle and Fitness magazine, and I was just looking at it at home, and I started reading about nutrition and cardio and fat loss, and I had transferred high schools my senior year, and I wasn't able to play any sports because I didn't live in the district, so I didn't really have anything to do. And I remember that night, I was like, well, I'm gonna try to do that. Like it was really weird. I had this stupid magazine, like just as typical of an article as we would read today, the same stuff that they reprint over and over and over. And I went to the gym and I did some cardio, and it felt really good. Like real moderate, and I remember like reading about moderate intensity and like running and all that stuff was just like, as a football player, I hated it. Like hated running, like sprinting, anything. It was miserable to me at that age. But I was just reading about like moderate intensity and how that was at the time was kind of what they preached. And so I went and did some training. So I lifted, did some cardio, felt really good, came home, like ate a good meal, and I was like, I could do that. That's not that bad. Mm-hmm. And I ended up losing like 50 pounds my senior year of high school. And I ended up, shortly after that, I kind of just lingering around Olympic gym. I had a few competitors that were around me, and it was actually an ex-girlfriend of mine from middle school whose mother came up to me and was like, hey, have you ever thought about competing in bodybuilding? It was Teresa. Yeah. And so she asked me, like, yeah, and I was like in a Speedo? Like, yeah, right, dude. I'm like super insecure. Well, about a year or so passed. This is like still in high school, a year or so passed, and I decided I was going to do it. And so I hired one of our gym owners over at Olympic, and I just did it. And I hated it. I wasn't really lean. Mm-hmm. I'm just leaner than I've ever been in my life, but I wasn't. I was two junior competitors, and he beat me. And I walked off the stage, and my first thought as I was walking off was like, "What show am I gonna do next?" I was like, "This is awesome." Even though I just got beat, I was like, "This is my shit."
Did you get like hyped up?
Yeah.
When like the crowd's watching you and shit like that. Like
dude, it was
yeah.
like, it was such a rush, and I loved it, and I loved like the culture at the time. It was like real, like kind of felt like real underground. It wasn't.
What year are we talking about?
2003.
Yeah, that was a good year, like a good era of bodybuilding, because you had Ronnie still doing his thing. That was when he was a freak. It was that 2003 year.
Yeah. We had guest performers that back then in Oregon
were legit,
badass, like real ones.
They did
like Ronnie would come to
E-Cup
like,
a lot, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Those guys.
Yeah, Ronnie would show up to E-Cup, right? And I mean, I don't know if he guest posed, but he would be there, right?
Yeah, one year they had Ronnie, Jay Cutler, and Gunter.
Wasn't Branch Warren there
And
too?
then-
That one.
Well, dude, and then like, I remember they had like Chris Cormier just randomly showed up that year, and like came out of the crowd and started guest posing. It was unreal, dude. It was like the top 4 or 5 bodybuilders in the world at the time were guest posing at local shows. It was awesome.
That's
Great,
so
great.
cool.
Yeah, it was a great time
Yeah,
to be
it's like
competing.
the bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Now you go there and it's like fitness for the guest posing.
Or they have, so yeah, they have like a fitness or like just some,
Like a mildly
dance and
moderate
gloves
pro.
on.
right, some, yeah, or not even pro, like,
An entertainer at that point.
right.
Yeah.
Yep. What about you, Tim?
Okay, I got into bodybuilding. I was into powerlifting. I wrestled through high school and a little in college, and then I got into powerlifting, which I was doing pretty good at. But everyone was like, "You got a kind of a physique on. You got small little joints. You know, you should try that bodybuilding thing." And
Put those to use.
yeah. So at the same gym that Brandon went to, Olympic, there was a bunch of bodybuilders around. Sheila, Dale. I actually hooked up with Dale, this little bantamweight
Natty.
Asian guy.
Yeah.
It's done a million shows,
Yeah, and still counting. I think he still competes.
probably.
Yeah, super nice guy.
Yeah, so they taught me just, and I like the idea of getting bigger. Is wrestling, I'd been losing weight and being small, and then powerlifting, I was making a smaller weight class to lift a bunch of weight. I like the idea of finally eating.
Yeah.
It's like, bodybuilding, get to eat? Hell yeah, let's do that. What got you into it?
So I was always an athlete growing up, doing multiple sports, whether it was baseball, ski racing, football, track. But I remember I hurt myself, so I couldn't really do sports, or I had an injury, and one summer I couldn't really do sports, so my parents were doing P90X with Tony Horton, and I was like, that dude's huge. That was like the first person I saw that was like fit, and I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. So I joined in with them, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to try this P90X thing. So I did the 90 days and had a pretty good transformation for being 15 years old.
Right.
And so that's when I was like, I kind of like looking big, because everybody in my school was like, dude, you got jacked over the summer. I'm like, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And so that got me into lifting, and then when I was lifting in high school, like zero period and stuff like that, because I couldn't play football because concussions and things. But the football coach was like, dude, you're strong as shit. He's like, you should keep lifting. I'm like, yeah, I'll keep lifting. So got into that, and then doing track, I was kind of a bigger dude. And I just wanted to be big and fast.
Were you eating a lot at that point? Or
Not
you were just
really.
training?
I was just training.
Eating regular, like teenager shit?
Yeah, but I would eat
Did you eat a lot of protein?
A lot of protein. Because I was really into hunting back then too.
Yeah.
So I was just eating.
Did you
the
take
good
around
shit.
just like bags of just like chicken breast and steaks and shit?
It would be like deer steak and rice.
Nice. Yeah,
Like,
that's what I would do. I'd be walking
Yeah.
through the halls just eating
And like
fucking chicken breast.
raging teenage hormones.
oh yeah. Totally
best.
acne everywhere.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
That's stuff that some people pay for now.
Exactly. But so then in college, I ran a little bit of track, and I wasn't really digging it. I was really into the lifting part because our track coach got us into lifting heavy weight, and I was like, screw this. I'm just gonna stick to body or like working out because I really liked an athletic side of it. And then my buddy showed me pumping iron, and that got me hooked into bodybuilding. I was like, hell yeah, this is it. Pumping iron, bodybuilding, I'm gonna do this shit. So I got really into working out, and then I met Tim when I was trying to compete for my first show. We talked about this already. And then after that, I think that's when I really dived into the bodybuilding lifestyle, eating 6 meals a day.
It seems like
Really
once you
good.
do a prep, you kind of hooked.
Yeah.
And
It's a
you don't really
lifestyle
go back to just like half-assing it. Like
Yeah.
Exactly.
even in your off season, it becomes regimented, like
Mm-hmm.
taking it to the next level.
I just thrived on competition. Like I wrestled and I played football, and once I didn't have that anymore, and I found a new avenue of competition. And then like I've always been really drawn to stages, and like not like bodybuilding, but like levels. Like I like being able to compete and then achieve this level. That goal's there, and then I have another level that I can go to. That was always really drawn to.
I never looked at the stage or competing against people. I was drawn to it by looking at pictures of people going, look at his rear delt. I got to do that. I was always driven by developing a body part for myself, not really like for a trophy or anything, but like I saw hanging hamstrings. I'm like, how the hell
Right.
That could get it hanging. How does he have so much muscle that it hangs? I need to do that. I have to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so people can shit on things like P90X and Muscle and Fitness magazine, but I mean,
It got me
at
into
some
it.
point, I mean,
Yeah.
we were like high schoolers, like being inspired, and like that's like what led us to.
Well, and what
series.
is bodybuilding? It's going from everybody always puts their
Right.
transformation pictures up, and that's what P90X was for me. I
Right.
transformed in 90 days from being a little scrawny kid to actually having some baby muscles.
There's a ton, I feel like there's a ton of people that have that. It all just started with a basic transformation that came from something like that, or body transformation contest at work, and they're like, oh man, like,
Yeah.
all I needed was like to stop, shoving shit in my mouth. And
Well, it seems what's really popular right now is that 75 hard challenge.
what's that?
I don't know if you guys have heard of that. It's really popular right now. I don't even remember who it was developed by, but it's like 2 workouts a day. One's 45. They're both 45 minutes long, and then it's taking ice cold showers, and then reading 10 pages of nonfiction and sticking to a diet plan for 75 days.
I saw
I
you.
think there's
Is
some
that
other
like
stuff.
David Goggins? Kind of like
that.
something
It's more like a
yeah.
discipline thing. I was
Right.
just doing it because I wasn't really disciplined with my
It's
stuff.
like a hardcore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I really want to get back into reading books because I used to love to read, and then I just got away from it because Netflix and HBO
Right.
and movies and shit.
Right.
But I was like, yeah, I need to get disciplined again. So I started, and then I got sick. But now I'm starting to get back into it after the holidays. So not 75 hard, but just being disciplined with my diet and sticking to all that stuff.
That's pretty cool. Never
Yeah.
heard of that before.
So before you went into bodybuilding, you were a rapper.
A fast. What do you
I had a
call it?
very
Yeah.
short rapping career. I did all right though.
You were a rapper from Hood River.
Yeah,
Did you have a rap name?
all right. it's short for all rhymes.
That's awesome. Yes.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I had flow. I still do.
And
but
we'll try to post a
I-
link of a couple.
no,
of things. Yeah.
we won't actually.
Yeah, we have to.
We will.
Now that we talked about it, we have to post it out.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he's legit. The dude can.
I can flow.
Can you freestyle?
Yeah.
So if we played something like a beat, could you do something to
You
it?
don't even need to be, huh?
I do like freestyles, like if I'm bored and shit driving, literally just by myself. I just I'll turn on hip hop. Not in front of people.
You're not gonna do it now? It's only 4 of us.
No.
And then whoever else watches
No,
afterwards.
dude. No, I gave that up a couple years ago.
Oh man.
No, but I actually got pretty decent. Me and my buddy, like, we had a mixtape, and we did these things called ciphers. I don't know if you guys know what those are. It's like
Educate us,
they just play a beat. It's just like on a loop, and like I don't know, 4 or 5 rappers will just rap 16 bars.
Do you guys know,
Not on the
do you know
same
what a bar is?
subject.
You the bars and shit. This is
Do you know what a bar is?
It's like a
Not Skyland.
It's like
it's like a verse, right?
like
Essentially.
2 line, like
Yeah, a verse.
a line and a line. Boom, they rhyme. That's a bar.
Okay. I have
So
an
usually,
idea, I
like,
just didn't know
it's pretty
exactly
much
what it was.
like
I actually knew that, man. I
16
was
sentences.
impressed with
Like, but yeah, I ended up doing one of those and like entered into this competition and flew down to California.
Oh, no
really?
shit, you were like legit then.
Not like really, but I
mean,
mean,
you're flying
I got into the
somewhere,
semifinals of this team backpack cipher is what they're called, and me and my buddy went down there. We both got in and fucking rapped in front of like 1,000 people and like really good rappers that we still listen to today. Like they were all there and
He's really good. Yeah, he's good.
So are there any
Big old
famous,
meat.
rappers,
The dude can.
any famous rappers now that you like rapped against? Can you,
I didn't rap again. They were like judges.
okay.
So there's this one rapper, and it's funny because I was the only bodybuilder. Because I was still pretty fucking big.
Right,
And people were like,
especially for a
what
rapper.
this is like the weirdest combination I've ever seen.
You would think it would go together though.
Big
Like,
old
It kind of did, and I
Yeah.
rapped about like getting big a lot. Like I had this one song. It's like I used to get picked on, and then I got big as fuck. So now what? Kind of like
Is that the one that you did with?
Thomas.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
your
And
ex-brother-in-law, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and he's fucking good too. And
Yeah, he is
It was a good time, man. Like that was our
That's a good
recreational thing. Like, go to the gym, come home, cook, smoke a bowl, fucking spit some rhymes, and you know, it was college days. You know, like
Yeah.
that's just what everyone was doing, and it was a good time. But then when I started focusing on bodybuilding, I was like, gotta put my eggs in one basket.
Right.
Like that's what I could
Put
actually.
your
I can't see
revenue
myself living like a rapper's lifestyle, like
No.
touring and partying and drinking. I'm like, dude, that's not me.
Yeah.
But I can be a bodybuilder that knows how to rap. So
Yeah.
I'll
But
do
like
that.
the weed part,
What?
the weed part of rap, like you could.
Oh, I can do that.
Like you got that shit.
I got that dialed, bro.
Make your own posing routine song.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't, but I mean, I definitely like that aspect of it, and I had a fucking sick posing routine put together for this year that I did not get to present, but
Yeah, let's talk about this year. Actually.
next year is gonna,
So this year, you had quite the.
just like everybody that
Fucking
tried to
roller coaster,
or
huh?
actually did compete this year, but yeah, I think started dieting in the end of January, and I was gonna do the E Cup, and that got canceled. I was
Yeah.
like, fuck it, let's rebound. And then I was like, man, I'm so shredded already. Let's just push for the Cascadian, I think is what the next one was. And then that had got postponed, and I was like, all right, it's all right. 4 more weeks, let's do it. And then that got canceled. I was like, all right, let's shoot for like Northern Classic canceled. And I entered into all these, like I paid the fees and shit. And then like
son
Did
of
you
a
get your
bitch.
money back for all those?
most of them, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, fucking, what was that? The last one I was, Night of Champions.
Oh, Night of Champions.
And then I had a different show in Arizona lined up because I was like, well, fuck, if Arizona's going to be open, sorry, because that seemed like they'd already had a couple shows. But at that point, my body, I don't know, maybe it was mentally, but I just looked stringy
Yeah.
from dieting that long. And like, I hadn't put on that fresh muscle from my last rebound. I didn't hold it long enough to really
Develop it.
develop it. So by the time I was done with that, I looked kind of the same
Yeah.
as last year, like a little 5 pounds heavier maybe, but not what I wanted to present.
Dude, like how you were looking for your initial prep.
The
Like,
initial prep was
Yeah,
fucking.
you looked good.
I looked. It was like
I was so excited
solid.
for you, man. Like, and then.
And then each prep I did after that,
It
it
was-
just slowly went fucking down, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm training just as hard, I'm dieting just as hard, but
And you see it like with people all the time that choose to do 4, 5, 6 shows. I mean, like.
I was literally just about to say, like, it should be a caution to people.
I think
Yeah,
once
like
you've
that.
had the muscle long enough, you can do that. But I mean, I'd only done.
I don't feel like people can diet that long. I feel like at some point your body's just like, yeah, we're good. We're not going to that level anymore. It's time
It's
to
not as
reset.
responsive.
I mean, like I feel like physique and, or excuse me, bikini girls and I don't even want to say men's physique 'cause some of these dudes are getting fucking jacked now. But like when you can maintain a little bit softer of a look and you're not like bringing that extreme look, like yeah, maybe you can get away with competing a handful of times, but like I don't really know very many bodybuilders that can.
You gotta be genetically
Yeah, dude. Like
gifted for not holding fat.
I was say maybe you want to talk about the science of like doing too many shows or dieting for too long and like the negative effects of doing that.
Calorie deficit.
Your thyroid, I feel like, takes a big hit.
I can only imagine
That
your
was
hormones
me,
just
like-
get jacked.
I was just staying flat, like I don't know if it was something to do with the thyroid. It just wasn't.
would you like to?
Oh, that's a huge topic.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Bring it up another day.
Don't over diet. Don't diet all year long. Your look will not be good.
Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, I've seen maybe a couple of pros that maybe like I don't.
Seems pretty rare for them
Yeah,
to do a lot of
I'm trying
shows.
to think of.
You're gonna
somebody
lose your
that-
pop.
Oh, a
That's
perfect
exactly
example of
it,
it
yeah.
is the people that qualify off of points for the Olympia, they get last.
Right.
Because like they do so many shows to get the
Right.
points, and they show up to the Olympia and look like shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's because they did so many shows
Yeah.
at least, and they're just not there.
And that's why the guys who are in the top half of the Olympia don't compete all year.
Right.
Save it for
So
that
they
one
will
show.
look good.
Or just a
Right.
couple, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah, they might-
tough thing to do. I mean, because like what's qualifying now? Like you win a show, or you earn enough points, right? So it's like
Well, certain shows are weighted differently too. So like if you win the Arnold, you automatically are qualified.
Right.
But I think it's like, I don't know, the California. I think it's based off a certain amount of points. But then like the New York, if you win that, you automatically qualify. It's just I
The
think
more
it's weighted
prestigious
differently.
ones.
Yeah.
So it's like I mean, if you're kind of a newer pro and you want to compete at the Olympia, you're like, you better go out and win a show.
Mm-hmm.
Like that automatically qualifies you. If you don't, then you're going to be scraping all year long, and then like, is it even really going to be worth shit? Like,
and then I was just listening to Nick Walker talk about how being a newer pro too, you're not going to get judged, I guess, fairly because you're a rookie still. So you got to earn your stripes.
Right.
Because if you go, like Nick Walker could show up to like a soft Big Ramy and maybe look better, but he's not going to beat Big Ramy at a show.
Yeah.
Like that, people would just turn.
Right.
So
Unless you're Phil Heath.
that's true.
Just dominate.
If you're that good, yeah.
But he's the gift for a reason.
Yeah.
What is the placing? So the top what of the Olympia automatically qualifies to come back the next year?
5.
Top 5.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I believe.
Or is it 6?
I thought it was 5.
I always feel like people rank the like the top 6.
Maybe I'm thinking nationals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But for like
kinda-
pushing the off-season weight, like, did you have to get like pretty thick, or did you? I mean, because you didn't stay lean year round, but
No.
you didn't really have to push. Like,
Push the
'cause
number.
genetically, like you're
Yeah,
already pretty big.
For me, like genetically, the number just went up. I never really
Right.
Like, my goal was always to like not get too heavy. 'Cause
Yeah.
I always knew like if each year I would kind of allow myself like an extra 5 or 10 pounds of like off-season weight because
Yeah.
I always knew that
The certain
like
body
for
fat
me
percentage
it
you
was
get
always the scale would just go up. Like it was real easy for me, but it was also
I just feel like a lot of people nowadays, like, I mean, I got sucked into it because I was like getting attention online from some of these big bodybuilding, like promoter pages and shit, and I was like, fuck, if I get thick again, like, they're not gonna look at me anymore. So I was
You have
like-
no content to
so
post.
people, yeah, I'm like fat. Nobody wants to see cellulite in your glutes, like, but it happens, you know, like.
yeah.
I think a lot of people are afraid to push that boundary, like with how thick you should get for an off season,
See, this is my
because
theory.
the social media now.
I was gonna say my theory as to why bodybuilding, because everybody always compares the bodybuilders now to the 90s and say, oh, the 90s was so much better, the early 2000s. Social media wasn't a thing, so those guys were getting big as fuck. Like, you look at Lee Priest, he looked like he was obese.
Yeah.
Jay Cutler would look like he was obese. Ronnie looked like he was obese.
Kai.
Yeah, they all got huge, and because they didn't need to go out there and post social media stuff. But now you got guys that are lean all year long, but they don't really make gains the next time they go up on stage. They just look the same or worse. And I don't know. That's just my theory.
Being like an influencer, like there's a lot more like bodybuilding influencers.
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to like, do you want more followers or do you want to win shows?
Right.
Like,
But sometimes that pays the bills.
yeah,
So
I mean,
it's
it's
like-
and who am I to like tell you
Right.
to like turn away money or followers or whatever it is that you're doing? If that's ultimately your goal is to just, you know, like
Yeah.
there's a a handful of like freaks out like Craig Golias,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
just a freak nasty huge dude, like not really a competitor at all. I
Right.
mean, he competed before and he was not really that good at it,
Yeah.
but like, I mean, that dude's making dough. Like just
Right.
doing instant, dude.
Yeah, well,
I'd
he's
never
got
tell
his
somebody to
own
not do
niche.
that.
Like when I started, I just wanted to be big as fuck. I didn't care about being shredded. I wanted to look like the off-season Ronnies and the off-season Jays. But
That's a good goal to
nowadays,
start out,
it's like
though.
frowned upon. It seems like a little bit like.
As an old guy, I'll give you this advice. You only remember in the very end the best physique you've ever created. Everything else is not going to matter.
Yeah.
So for your off seasons, I would get as fat as required to push, only as fat as that you need to be to push the most weight. Because you're going to push more weight at a certain body fat. And then once you get fatter than that, it's not going to help you push more weight. Don't get that fat. Just get fat enough to push optimal weight in the gym to build the best physique you possibly can, because that's what you're going to remember when you're old and in your rocking chair. You're not going to remember 2007 I did the 7 feathers and got 4th. None of that
Right.
shit. You're just going to remember that one time, the ultimate.
How many? And I mean, ultimately, what's your goal?
To be a pro bodybuilder,
Exactly.
obviously, yeah.
Yeah,
A
so,
competitive pro
to
bodybuilder, not
win-
just win my pro card and be like, fuck yeah,
To
but
win
like
fucking shows.
to
Like,
win,
I mean, it's
yeah,
not really
absolutely.
about. And I'll tell you right now, if you continue winning bodybuilding shows and become a pro bodybuilder, all that other stuff will. kinda
Yeah,
handle
I wish
itself.
that I could just fucking delete all my social media and just go dark, but like, there's so much content on there. I love to watch the fucking TikToks. They just like
Yeah.
I spend like an hour scrolling through, laughing my ass off on the stupidest little videos. Like,
Dude, that app is the devil though. Like,
it is. It's
Because
a
if you start
time.
scrolling through it, like you'll just be like, I'll like start looking at it
One
like, in
more.
the morning or something, and then like before I know it, I'm like, oh shit, I'm late, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I'll get like lost in the world.
Been
of these
sitting on this
stupid
toilet
ass
for 5
videos.
minutes.
I know my hands will go numb because I sit on the toilet watching TikToks. I'm like, oh shit, my hands are huge. I can't scroll anymore.
Dude, my hands have been going numb lately. That's funny that
No.
you bring that up. My hands have been going numb when I'm on my phone. Like,
Yeah, same.
That should be a
It's
pretty
really-
clear sign.
I think it's worth
Yeah.
It's time.
Pinch it off. Get off.
Your
get off
body's
the pot.
telling you something.
Yeah.
I took it as a sign that my supplements were working great.
There's that too. Yeah.
So yeah. So anyways, back to your competitive career. What do you have in store next year? What's the plan?
I'm pretty eager to get on stage, so I mean, it's looking like E-Cup's gonna be the first show, but I don't want to be that same naive motherfucker that I was at the beginning of the year.
I tried warning you.
You
I
did,
tried
and I was
warning
like,
you.
"Fuck you!
I
I'm
know.
gonna do
I
it.
know you said
Just
that.
watch.
Fucking negative dick. Don't put that.
You guys
negative-
are hating." I'm like,
Yeah.
I wanted it to happen, but I was just being a realist. I was like, dude, you should just not even register for this one. I knew it wasn't gonna happen.
dude,
but-
and it's funny because I was like set. I think I was like 3.5, 4 weeks out from Night of Champions, and I was like, it's not gonna happen. So I pulled out, and that's the first show that fucking happened.
right?
But I got an email that's like, you're gonna have to wear a mask, and I was like, no,
Yeah, it's
I'm not gonna
stupid.
wear a mask on stage. Fuck that.
Yeah.
And so they ended up not having to wear them, of course. It's like, God damn it.
Yeah, I felt like last year was such a it was such a weird year to be a competitor, and it was like as we were kind of going through that together, we'd kind of revisit like every week, like okay, where are we at? What's gonna happen? What's the state doing? What and it was like as a coach, it was like, man, I don't want to be the guy that's like, yeah, pull the plug and then here you like waste the time, but I also
Yeah.
don't want to be the guy that's like, yeah, dude, just keep dieting, like, because I know how, like I told you 100 times, I'm like,
Right.
bro, I'll tell you right now, if it was me, I wouldn't be doing it. Like, I wouldn't put myself. through
I
it unless
should
had
have
a
listened
date.
the very first time, and I would have been like 20 pounds heavier right now. But I maintained that same weight. I stayed at like 228 to 230 for this whole year.
Yeah.
I think it was just a good discipline
Didn't get
exercise.
to grow.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
It kept my waist down for the whole year, so now I can push the food even harder.
And it gave you lots of Instagram content.
Yeah, there you go. You got tons of pictures to post for next year.
I really did. I practiced posing and shit a lot, so I mean,
I mean, dude, there's
there's a blessing in disguise, I think.
there's people out there. This is like one of my biggest pet peeves. Like, they do a competition and then I vent to you guys about how it annoys me, but somebody will do a competition and for the next 2 or 3 years, they're recycling the same
Flashbacks.
fucking pictures.
Oh
dude.
my
Throwback
God.
Thursday, Flashback Friday, take me back, blah blah blah. I'm like, oh my god, dude.
I love the
Like,
shit.
I
when,
just want somebody to
Like,
do
you
a new
haven't
show so we can
competed
see
in
it.
like 3 years, man.
Yeah.
like we talk about this all the time. Whenever like a show comes around and they're like, "Oh yeah, here's my stage
Yeah,
shot,"
yeah.
and it's like, "Hey, good luck to everybody. Here's what I look like when I was competing at that show."
In honor of the Emerald Cup, here's a picture of me doing the 7 feathers.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is that? Get the fuck out of here. Oh my god, like, these people cannot, like, just let these people have their day. Like, it has to be about them. Oh,
Yeah.
no, dude, it drives me nuts. Biggest what's your biggest bodybuilding pet peeve?
That's a good one. I guess just lately, especially since I've been training people, is like people think it happens overnight.
Yeah.
So when people are like turning to like PEDs and stuff like right away, and they haven't even pushed their nutrition or their training whatsoever, like it's kind of takes away from the, like us that have actually put in the work and gone through the ringer.
Right, and, like, they think that...
They're like,
They're-
oh, this guy's
they're-
just taking a shit ton of gear, so
Right.
that's why he's so big. It's like, no, motherfucker. I have been force feeding myself for 14 years. Like, I
Right.
hate. You guys saw how small I was in those pictures. Like, I hated being small.
And they think they're going to be some genetic exception that...
Right. I'm
Right.
like, you've been training for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Just be happy with your progress. Like, if you're gaining a pound a week, it's good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's what I tell my clients. I'm like,
more
if you're
than it is.
gaining a
That's
pound
like you
or
do
half a pound or a pound a week, like
stupid.
you're on a solid progression.
If I gained a pound a week of muscle, oh my god, because that's 52 weeks in a year. So 52.
Well,
pounds,
like not a muscle, but I
know,
mean like mass,
yeah,
just in general.
Even
but
52
still.
pounds, if it's quality
That's
mass,
true. Yeah.
that's a lot.
That's what I'm saying. So eventually you're gonna hit the wall, but like, no, you're not gonna make these huge jumps like right away.
Right.
So I'm gonna ask you two the same question. You only get one. Only one pet peeve.
Is this about bodybuilding, or it could be the gym too? That's like.
Let's go with just bodybuilding. Like just the sport of bodybuilding pet peeve. Just one. I know, dude, we have so many.
Oh, I got one.
Okay.
I love the guy who thinks he's gonna be a heavyweight. He's like 6 foot, weighs 250.
Yeah.
I
only gotta lose 15 pounds.
I could probably squeeze into the heavyweight class. Like, bro, you might even not make middles. You might be lightweight.
Yeah.
6 foot.
Yeah.
Like, this is not even close.
Oh, Blue loves to have that conversation with people. He'll slap you in the face with it. Like people, and like he has so many stories of people that are like, yo, like I think I'm a such and such weight class, and he's like, nah, dude, try 2 classes lower. Like if you're truly shredded, and he like just dishes out that slice of humble pie right from the get go.
Or they'll come straight to me and tell me, I want to compete. I've never competed before, but I want to compete as a heavyweight at this show. Why heavyweight? You're going to look like shit if you're competing as a heavyweight at that show.
Yeah, like maybe
That
just
ain't gonna
focus
happen.
on bringing the best version of you and like wherever
Yeah,
you
why
like.
do you think about the weight class?
Yeah.
Because it sounds cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to be super heavy, but I'm like, I was on the cusp. I was like, if I want to be super peeled, I can't be a super heavy. So
Right.
Right. What about you?
I think mine's a little bit more broad, but the conceitedness sometimes and the egos that come with like the amateur level of
Yeah.
bodybuilding. I don't care if you're a pro and you're conceited, like you earn that shit.
Yeah.
But like the future pro thing, like that's probably my biggest pet peeve is like, future pro. Like on Instagram or
Right.
whatever, people say, I'm gonna be a pro. Or just I guess that falls into the unrealistic deal too of like somebody that's gonna do their first show and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna turn pro.
Yeah.
Right off the bat.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, dude, you got to put in the. You haven't even.
I can
put in the
appreciate
time.
like a level of confidence. Like if
Right.
you're if you're like, hey man, like my goal is to be a pro. Like that is a legit.
But isn't that everybody's goal?
Of course, yeah.
do
But like
bodybuilding?
to just go out and like slap all the other people in the face, like yeah, I'm gonna do like just so you guys know, and like display that. I just like feel like that's such a
Yeah, I think that's the thing that pisses me off.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you haven't put in the time, you haven't put in the effort, you don't even know. You haven't even competed at your first show, and you're saying future pro.
Right.
You have no idea what's ahead of you.
And to
No
add
idea.
to that, like those people that have done maybe one show or something like that, and they post like 30 videos of them talking on the treadmill, like, hey guys, I'm out here doing my cardio, day in the life. Like, no, you have fucking like 30 people that watch that. No one cares.
They go live and there's 2 people watching.
Yeah, I'm out here just putting in the work. Like, no shit, man. Like, so is everyone.
Yeah.
I can't stand those people, man.
Oh yeah.
I guess we're kind of on a negative streak, so
Yeah,
let's get it
let's
back to
lighten it
more
up.
positive stuff.
Yeah. I actually had a question for you that kind of revolves around our like local scene. So we have I think lately we've been seeing some like pretty like solid like up and coming competitors
Definitely.
in the Northwest and
Some young guns for sure.
Yeah, I love it. So my question for you is who would you like to compete against locally? Like, is there some names? Like, and not
There's
like,
definitely one dude that I
not
want
like
to
in
see
a-
who I stack up next
not
to.
not like in a like a disrespect.
Well, there's a couple.
Okay, and maybe there's like maybe it does come from.
So one of them,
Oh, we're just gonna.
I've
go,
already
okay.
beat him.
Let's get the
So we had this conversation earlier, and I had 4 names. I was like, I bet you these 4 names are on his radar. And it, like I said, it's
Yeah.
not necessarily from a disrespectful standpoint.
No, not at all. No, it's like
people you
people
wanna
who
compete
are competitive that like I want to push me on stage. Like everybody knows I want to compete against Thomas again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
yep.
one
And
of
I
them.
tell him that every time. I'm like, whatever show you do next, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Or he'll say that about me, and
I want to see that rematch too.
Me
yeah,
too.
yeah. And then there's this other dude that's I actually trained with a little while ago named Stuart.
Mm-hmm.
This motherfucker's like 23 years old.
He's stout.
He's my size. He looks bigger, strong as fuck. And I'm like, you're dense and like grainy for
He got some
being
big
that
old
young.
fucking mitts, dude. Like his
Yeah.
hands are huge. You're like that.
And
dude's
so I'm
gonna
like-
be a monster.
straight up when we trained, he's like, I want to beat you on stage. I was like, fuck it, let's do it. Like,
You gotta love that.
I gotta stand my ground, man. You're 5 years younger than me.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty cool to have a young guy say that to somebody who's a little older.
Yeah.
Like, it's nothing out of disrespect. That's just like, fuck yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can say it because I've seen him training. He's busting ass.
Yeah, he's no joke.
Yeah.
He's allowed to talk.
He trains like we do.
Yeah. When I watched you guys training legs together like a couple weeks ago, I was like, oh yeah, like that's what you need. Like,
That's
you
when
need
I
a
was
partner
like,
that.
I needed a week and a half to recover from that one because we were
Right.
both like, we're gonna fucking kill it.
Yeah.
And then
That's good shit. That's
we
good. That's
both
really-
were like messaging each other like, I'm fucking trashed, bro.
No, you need to keep training with that guy because
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
good pair. That's definitely.
So yeah, those two guys, I think it'd be cool if we could all. I think most of us who are gonna compete this year are gonna do a few shows, so the chances are pretty high that me and Thomas will do one together. Me and him, and I don't know
What
what
is Thomas's
Dylan's plans or your plans are, but obviously I'd like to compete against everybody that's goes to O'Malley's and shit. It'd be cool,
Yeah.
like.
Well, I'll be doing a fall show, I think. So
Yeah.
if you want to do a fall show, let's do it.
Dude, I honestly like if shit's still closed down at the beginning of the year, I'm gonna keep growing and
Yeah.
just wait till
Next
fall.
year, Northwest Bodybuilding is going to be the best ever.
I think it really
been
will.
a long time.
No, we got some good. Just out of our gym alone, we got some really good competitors.
This kind of lockdown might be a blessing in disguise for people to get big because they're not competing.
Spend some
Get
time to
big.
grow.
Yeah, spend some time to grow and just being like
And they're
hungry to
all-
compete.
And they're all itching for the stage. 'Cause
Yep,
nobody's
hungry.
got it.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I mean, hopefully they'll at least open the fucking gyms again for
I
a
know.
lot of people. That's like, I mean, some of these guys are kind of finding a way to make it work, home gyms and whatnot. But hopefully they can.
And there's just some talent now.
Yeah.
Like Ryan, we haven't seen a competitor of Ryan's caliber in the Northwest in a long ass time.
Mhm.
Like I can't remember far back.
That's crazy.
We
I
have.
always thought I was super fucking small.
Dude, I was winning shows as a middleweight. and
Like
that's
still to
not
this day, I
okay.
look at pictures and I'm like,
It's not okay.
I feel so small. Do you have like bigorexia at all? Like you probably don't ever feel that way, huh? Only when you diet.
Yeah, because like I don't like when I see like other big dudes, I'll be like, that dude's fucking massive, and then like I'll see like a video or a picture of me like next to them, and I'm like, all right, I didn't realize that I was
Yeah.
still a big dude. Like it's just because I don't compete anymore, so I don't like.
It's sometimes you see somebody who's like a little bit leaner than you. And
Yes.
They might be a little bit smaller, but they look bigger.
Right.
And you're like, fuck, it's
Yeah.
soft and.
Yeah, I think that always like, and I don't like. I don't want to say like, there's definitely like an unhealthy aspect to it. If it's like affecting your everyday life, but I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to be better.
No.
And like especially if you're, being competitive, I don't think that's
Well, and like
necessarily a
growing
bad
up,
thing
like
at
you
all.
said, you were like already like
Yeah, I was a
genetically bigger.
Yeah.
I was like we were like small little dudes.
Same. Yeah.
So like yeah, we were all probably like
I think most of
buck
my,
35 in high school.
I
I think-
106.
I think most of my insecurities probably go the opposite direction, like just from like always like kind of tending to be more chubby. So like I
Right.
think like where I don't really like necessarily care so much if I'm like big, but like I don't
That's
I
crazy.
don't like taking my shirt off in public. I don't like even when I was like we'd go to Vegas and after we would compete and I would stand on stage and get judged in front of the nation's best, and then I would go to the pool like after the show, and like I would still feel weird about taking my shirt off. Like on a stage, it didn't affect me, but I was like, it still bothered me. Like, and
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
I was like lean. I was ready. I just competed in the USA's. Like, but I would go into a pool is just a different social environment, and it would make me uncomfortable.
I get nervous like when I go swimming at the river and stuff.
Yeah.
Like people don't look like us in public. So like are they staring because they're admiring you or are they staring because they're judging the fuck out of you?
Yeah. Yeah, I think there will always be some, especially when you've looked a certain way for so long, you'll hold yourself to maybe an unhealthy standard.
Yeah, I think
Or maybe I don't know. I don't know if it's healthy or not. Like
do you have that
an
one?
unrealistic standard, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. I never really liked taking my shirt off, and I don't like being the center of attention either. The only time I ever like it is on a bodybuilding stage.
On stage, yeah.
Or powerlifting, because you don't think about
Yeah.
it. And like, I don't even see I don't know about you guys, but I don't ever see the crowd whenever I'm up there. I just see the lights and the judges and the other competitors, and that's it. Because like, I hate public speaking. The fact that I do this is actually a big step.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But
you, Tim?
I don't get nervous on the stage. I'm just worried about the fat on my ass not moving around. I'm just more worried about, am I dry? Am I pulling up water? I don't even care about the audience at all.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, I don't like really when I competed in bodybuilding, like on a stage, I never felt really like insecure. No, I don't really feel like. I think it's more like in like social normal settings that I get like anxiety about it. Like
When
if
you
you're
are
at a
the odd one
bar
out.
and you're getting like a bunch of dudes. Like people always think that it's women that you're gonna get attention.
Always
from.
dudes.
It's just dudes. Like it's just dudes that are coming. Oh, dude, you're fucking jacked.
How
And
much
they're,
you
like,
bench?
And they're like touching you, and you're just like, dude. For me, like I'm like, fucking like it gives me anxiety. Like in normal social settings, but when you're like, for me, like when I'm at a bodybuilding show, I don't like. It's like. It doesn't
safe.
Like yeah, like it's not like for me. It's never about. Like I don't know why. Like you're in an arena full of like fit, shredded, big people.
People who are going
but,
to judge you up and down, like.
but it doesn't like it. That doesn't bother me.
And
It's
in
the common
like
folk
a
that bother me.
speedo or a thong, basically a man thong.
Right.
But it doesn't. I never get anxiety from that. But I'll get anxiety just being like at a bar and somebody
Yeah.
comes up and talks to you.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
But like, I'll go up there, it's just all tanned
They're a
up,
different
and
breed,
oiled
man.
up. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's the social,
totally
like,
fine.
the social norm that makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like it's not.
I agree.
Yeah, for some like we walking like you see a lot of guys walking around the expos and stuff with their lats flared out and tank tops and like I don't really like it doesn't like I don't feel like I need to do that. I've always like I just that whole area feels comfortable. The gym comfortable, like everything's comfortable, but like you go to a bar or Walmart's or anything where there's just a lot of people, like that's where I like get really
Right.
Oh, I fucking hate Walmart, dude.
yeah.
I had some guy come up to me at a Winco and asked me to pick up his wife out of her chair, and I was like, "Oh, why? Like, does she need assistance?" Because she was like in a wheelchair. I'm like, "Oh, what's the deal? Why do you need it?" And I'm like, "Okay," so I'm heading over there to pick the wife up out of the chair, and I'm like, "Why am I doing this?" He's like, "Just because I want to see if you can do it." I'm like, "Motherfucker!" I thought this was some sort of
Yeah.
medical problem or
Right.
something. I ain't picking your wife up just because you want me to.
Right.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I know. I remember after the last show I did in Portland, we went to a burger place. Katie and I, during like getting the burger between prejudging and the night show, and one of the gals there was like, "Flex for me," and I was like the cashier, and I was like, "I don't really want to do that," but she's like, "Come on, just do it," right in front of like my girlfriend at the time. I'm like, "This is just so weird."
Imagine it being the other way around, though. Like, if you're a dude and you're like, hey,
Pop those glutes real quick.
Yeah. Pull down your pants.
let's
real
see
quick.
those tie-ins.
Yeah. Get out of
Yeah.
here. Yeah, that's weird.
But yeah, like stuff like that gives me anxiety. But
Yeah.
yeah, like being on stage, it's totally fine. I don't care.
Yeah, I
No
felt
worry
that
in the
too.
world.
As soon as I heard you scream, I was like, it's on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all my nerves were gone.
Oh, you'll hear my voice.
That was the only voice I heard.
Yeah,
You're loud as fuck.
I'm obnoxious at the shows. If I got a client up there, people are gonna know. They're gonna hear me, and everybody else around me is gonna know which competitor is mine. And I don't know if that's good for you or not, but they're like, "Oh,
I mean,
that's Brandon's client."
I heard you though, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
when you were at my show, so
I got an obnoxious voice. But do you have any other questions for our guest?
I mean, I got a couple of questions from Instagram. If we want to go over that, I'm sure some people would like to
People
hear.
have questions.
Let's
we
see.
got
Yeah.
So Kelsey asked your thoughts on bikini competitors, and have you ever trained one?
I've never trained one, but I think that it would be definitely doable. A lot more so than
Sounds like
figure,
she's asking for a
physique.
coach. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what Kelsey from PDX Cookie or
Oh.
yeah, the smaller blonde gal.
That brings the cookies every night?
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
making us all fat?
Yep.
Dude, those cookies,
Those cookies are
unbelievable.
I can't do them. They're too rich for me. It just
Yeah,
they,
pick 'em up.
You gotta what?
Heat them up. Don't do it. I didn't tell you that.
Yeah, maybe I should just stay away from them. Yeah, I'm already too fat as it is.
No, I haven't trained any bikini girls, but I think I wouldn't be any different than training a figure girl. Just the nutrition would be a little different, and probably not as heavy of compound lifts and kind of more ham and glute work and shit like that.
All right, and then this one's from Heather Munson, who was our last guest. This is actually a really good one. If Ryan was a competitive bodybuilder, what would be his sport of choice and why? I think actually that'd be a good question for everybody.
Yeah.
We'll start with you. If you were to be a professional athlete, what sport would it be?
Always wanted to play professional lacrosse.
Wow, that's out
I
of
was
left field.
pretty. I was pretty fucking good at lacrosse. I was like obsessed, and I actually like went to Western Oregon to play college lacrosse.
No shit.
Yeah, and I was training and everything, like not bodybuilding, but like still trying to get big and everything. And I was in attack, but I was like the biggest, strongest attack because usually the guys, like the big guys,
what's an attack?
well, they're up by the goal,
Oh,
and then there's middies, and then there's defense.
Oh, okay.
Like
So
soccer,
usually big guys would
essentially,
just be defense or goalies, but I was like an attack with the like
you had some
quick
moves
squirmy
on
guys,
the
but I would just ram my way in there.
Hell yeah.
And
I didn't know that either, dude.
I was pretty
We'll
fucking
have
good,
Brian
man.
come back. We learned too much. we got more to learn.
But yeah,
Oh,
Tim.
my sport of choice would be wrestling. I had to give it up because
Like pro wrestling.
no.
Wrestling. Real wrestling.
Real wrestling.
But I had to give it up because there's nothing. I ain't making the Olympics, so.
Right. That's such
Nothing to do,
a
but-
shitty thing that they don't have like professional wrestling. Like,
Yeah.
there's no avenue. They either go professional wrestling or MMA.
Yeah.
It's the only way to go, or the Olympics.
It was. So I was a chess player when I was younger. I was the Oregon State chess champion. And wrestling to me was like a battle of the mind and physical against your opponent, both. So.
It definitely
Like the
requires a
person
lot of
involved.
thinking, and being able to keep your head on straight while you're exhausted is like,
Oh yeah.
That's-
And determination to be in shape and to keep going
dude, I love
harder
wrestling.
than
It's like
wrestling was the shit. I
Yeah.
loved it.
if I ever have like boys, like I'm getting them into wrestling
It
as
teaches
young
you-
as possible.
Right.
Lateral drops.
It
For
is.
days. That was when I wrestled for a couple years in high school, and I did deadlifts as fuck tons, so I just lateral drop everybody.
Wrestling's such a great sport for young men.
A lot of
Yes.
the best bodybuilders in the world are former wrestlers.
I believe
I
it.
can't believe how often I see. It turns out that they were a wrestler.
I believe it.
Well, look
They
at college
know how to
wrestlers.
cut
They're
weight.
jacked too. And it's not like wrestlers really lift weights that much, just from lifting people.
They're just in shape. It's their mentality.
Yeah.
They will work like. I haven't asked that Stewart guy that you train, but the way he trains hard and the way I want to ask him if he's a wrestler. I haven't asked him yet.
He looks like
but
he
I'll
was a
bet
wrestler.
He was a wrestler.
Yeah, I think so.
guarantee it was.
Just look at his ears. We'll look at his ears.
He's definitely an athlete.
Yeah.
We'll get him on here.
How about you?
Me? Well, I guess I have two. So, I never did fighting growing up. I mean, I did a little karate when I was a kid, but I'd like to do MMA. I have a huge respect for MMA fighters. If I were to be a professional athlete, MMA would be really cool. It's really hard. Like, we're talking about discipline. It's probably, you gotta be the most disciplined to do that one, because you gotta be a jack of all trades and a bunch of different arts. If it came down to money-wise, something like golf.
Something you could do for years.
Yeah, do it until you're dead, pretty much.
Yeah.
So golf would be legit.
Yeah, golf's a fun sport. I would hands down choose MMA. Like I've done a very minimal amount of training, but I always loved it, and it always kind of took me back to my wrestling days. And it always just the gut check part of it. Like we haven't talked about puking yet today. We almost always talk about puking. But I've thrown out in MMA style or jiu-jitsu or kickboxing and that style and wrestling and all of that, all those different types of martial arts I've trained until I puked, and it's just that like that part where you just like really got to dig deep, and I just love that type of stuff. I always loved impact style sport. I played football, and football's probably my favorite sport. But if I had to pick something that like I could do, like I like like after bodybuilding and powerlifting and the years of wrestling, I love the individualized part of.
I feel like a lot of bodybuilders can relate to MMA too in a lot of ways. especially the weight cutting
Yeah.
and just being the discipline. You have to be disciplined all the time as an MMA fighter. So
Yeah, I think some of the bodybuilders could afford to get hit in the face a few times.
that's true. I think more people in general should be hit in the face more.
Give violence a chance.
Yes.
Yeah, but MMA is it's such a phenomenal sport, and I like you, man. I just have such a tremendous amount of respect for these guys that train for it. The training camps are brutal that these guys go through. Like you hear about like when these guys get injured, it seems like it's like rarely ever in the fight. It's always in the camp.
Yep.
Like they're training so hard.
And there's a lot on the line. I mean, you could die.
Yeah. I mean, there's something to be said for two men or women that get into a cage and lock the door and
Yeah.
It's primal.
and go till somebody. Yeah, dude. Like
I think that's why I like it. It just like
Yeah.
gets back to like your primal roots, and
yeah,
I mean,
Like, what
I
do
think
you
we need
mean?
more of that in society in general
Absolutely.
anyway.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no doubt. Was that all the questions that we had from the followers?
I think there was another one. There was actually one from Dylan. I'm trying to find it again. I think it was your favorite delt and long head tricep exercise.
I showed you
Because we
that
were
one
talking-
last
yeah.
night at the gym. Are at the single arm tricep pushdowns. I don't know why they've just
On a cable or on a
No.
on a machine,
On a machine.
on some sort of machine, or you can do cable too. But I just like the isolated because I can get way more mind to muscle connection that way. And then for delts, lateral raises and
Yeah.
dumbbell press.
You're a
dumbbell press
mon-
truck.
He's a
Yeah.
monster.
You have to dumbbell press heavy.
Yeah.
I like the Smith machine, but I've tried experimenting going back and forth. For some reason, all the stabilizer muscles when you do dumbbells.
Is that what you like, dumbbell or shoulder press over?
I feel like you get more fibers activated with dumbbells rather than the Smith machine.
What kind of weight you throw around on those? Because I've seen you some pretty.
I threw the 150s for 10.
Yeah. And
I don't
like
even think
a legit 10.
I
too.
couldn't even. I don't think I could get the 150s in place.
Oh, I know I couldn't.
Like, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't even try.
If you can do 150-pound dumbbells for 10, your shoulders are going to be big. It's
You're,
like science.
Yeah,
you
I
have
think
to
so.
be.
And then my favorite is the rear delt swings.
Oh, the swing.
You showed us those.
The meadow swing.
Dude, I have not had that kind of a rear delt pump since I've started doing those.
I forgot about those. I need to start putting those.
Like
back
sets
in
of
my
40
routine.
and 50, like just barely swing.
Yeah, I like it
Yeah.
when they like you swing like 40, 50, 60, and then you drop them and then just grab some like 20s and then fly. Oh my god.
Rear delts are underrated.
Super
I
underrated.
think people really lack, like overall in bodybuilding, I think there needs to be more rear delts.
That's like one of those parts, like when I see like a guy who claims he's a bodybuilder, like, and you see him walk away, and he's got big old caps, like hanging off of his, the t-shirt just hangs off of him. You're like, that dude's a bodybuilder. Like that's just what, and traps too for some reason, like the way that it all like sits on the shoulders, like that. You're
Right.
like, that
Yeah, I like
traps.
that look. Trap, delt, and then the tricep pops out. And then I think the reason my long heads are so good is because I bench a lot, just flat bench. And I grab kind of like, not close grip, but not very
medium
wide.
grip, yeah.
I think I definitely use more triceps when I bench than most people. And I think
You
that's
bench a lot,
played a
too.
huge part of it. Yeah.
And when you bench 405 for 10, you're going to have big
least.
ass triceps.
Yeah.
Science again.
I got 425 for 5 last time. That's
shit.
like my new PR right now.
That's dope.
So I'm gonna stick with that.
That's a lot of weight.
I got some work to do.
Yeah.
I got my work cut out for me, especially if we're going to compete together in the fall.
Hopefully that happens. That'd be awesome.
Before we're done, I want to vouch for. I don't vouch for many trainers. Because people give money. There's so much bad training in the world, or most other gyms, whatever. But I will vouch for Ryan if you need to get a trainer. You want to burn fat or grow muscle, definitely see this guy. He studies like crazy. He's learning at an incredible rate, already knows a ton. More than any trainer you're going to find anywhere.
He's a fucking nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're one of the rare exceptions for a guy that's just in one show that actually knows a shitload that I would
Yeah,
trust.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, you're one of the very few. Because I think there's a lot that do their show and then they're like, hire me for training purposes or coaching.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
like,
I
dude,
was
you just-
specifically, I didn't want to be that guy, so I waited a while. I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah, especially
I've seen some
Yeah, you
people,
do
and
have the
I
knowledge,
specifically, I think we know. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be like that guy.
Yeah, you do have the knowledge though too.
And you always come talk to me about real topics, real
Yeah.
genuinely interested in it. You're learning your shit.
Well, and like between all of us, all of the like anecdotal evidence, shit that you can't just read in a textbook, you know, that you learn from years of training with multiple different bodybuilders from different walks of life, and you know, you just can't learn that unless you're like hands on and you're in that environment.
I always say this a lot, but that's one thing that's great about O'Malley's too, is just like you can walk up to anybody who looks decent,
Yeah.
you're gonna learn something from them.
Yeah,
So, yeah, there's something to be said about O'Malley's for that instead of a commercial gym.
absolutely.
And people are just willing to help there. That's the thing that like in society, I think a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to like ask him because like he's, or they're scared to ask
Ego.
bodybuilders and
Yeah.
stuff. But it's like they're one of the most helpful people to ask,
Right.
like, and they're happy to help.
If you approach them at a
An
appropriate
appropriate time. That's
before
true.
they train or after, but like you were saying, like you can tell when you have like a fuck off
Yeah.
look on your face, like
I feel like and,
just
and
be a little respectful.
it seems like maybe it was more so back when we first started, but it was a lot of like hush hush, and you had to like pay people so much money to get any information. But now that there's a lot of information, some good, some bad, I feel like, and one thing I am grateful for in our gym is that it's never really like a hush hush thing. Like nobody, like we all like want to see everybody do well. Like even if you guys are going to compete against each other next year, you guys will still bounce things off each other throughout the year.
Yeah.
Like there's no there's no like weird. I feel like that used to happen a lot, but it was because there wasn't really a lot of information, so people would kind of hoard it, and we had to pay people to find it.
And there's a real camaraderie at O'Malley's, especially when people are competing against each other too.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like there's this gym rivalry or
No.
this competitive. It's just like both of you just want to do the best to bring it out of each other.
Right.
So
Like when you and Thomas were competing
Yeah.
against each other, you guys were standing next to each other every single week at posing classes.
And it's
awesome.
dude, seriously now, like I don't know, I think it was a couple weeks ago or a few weeks ago before everything, and I was like, let's just go in the corner, let's just see where we're at. We're just like throwing up a couple front double bicep, a couple poses. I'm like, all right, I see you.
yeah.
yeah,
You still got that little waist.
It's
like you
good
still
for
got
you.
those huge arms.
It's really good too, because like like when we have our group posing classes, and you're like, okay, like even if you guys weren't competing against each other, and say you guys were a couple weeks apart in your shows, you're like, oh man, like that dude's supposed to be 2 weeks behind me, but he's 2 weeks ahead of me. You guys kind of gauge each other. But
Yeah.
I thought a prime example is you and Thomas were competing, and you were quite a bit ahead of him for a lot of it, and Thomas got to see that every single week, and then dude, like that last like 3 weeks. Dude, he put the
shut
foot on
up.
the gas, dude, and
Absolutely.
he almost caught your ass, dude.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I was telling Thomas all the time, you're behind, you're behind, you're behind.
Yeah,
you're
dude,
behind, you're behind.
You guys put the pedal to the metal, dude, and you guys like you almost got him, dude. Like, but that was really cool for him.
I think it
have
was
that.
pretty cool going like shot for shot with him, because there's shots where I know like his ab and thigh, he's just gonna kill me on.
his front lat spread is silly too.
Yeah.
His
his
lat
front
spread's
lat
pretty
spread's
fucking
stupid.
ridiculous,
Yeah.
and like my most muscular, like we all have our strong
Yeah.
points.
I mean, it
And
was
we
really-
recognize that we point it out.
You guys
We're
do
not
have
like,
like two very different physiques too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of like if you had, even at that show, if you had like a couple of different style judges, like he probably could have gotten some ones in that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
It's gonna be
It
fun
was,
to watch.
yeah, it was really fun being in that group chat when like you would send pictures of Thomas and then you would send pictures of Ryan. I'm sitting on the outside at home. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see them on stage. I can't wait.
now that I know how to pose, like it's totally different. I didn't really know how to present it very well. I don't know if either of us really did, but like we've both been working on it. And dude, the way you pose is like
It's
can
very
make or break
underrated.
you. Yeah, like
Oh, yeah.
like my quarter turns, I didn't know, I wasn't doing them right at all, and so like now I really know how to blade the right way and how to make my hand pop and everything.
With
You're
how
gonna
fun
end
it
up
was
being-
last time. They both have gotten even better, so
Yeah.
it's gonna be even funner on the next one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and you're such an anal person. Like you're gonna end up being like a really good poser and probably like posing coach in the future, because dude, you like I'm a pretty good posing coach, but you are so like like
crooked,
into
aren't
the
I?
fucking.
Dude, if you look
Dude,
at those
you-
before pictures, look at the line down my
Stop it,
belly
dude.
button. I
We're not
swear,
even-
look at
dude,
the pictures when I was
We're not
15.
even starting with that.
I'm crooked. No, you're not.
But yeah, like that like attention to detail will end up making you
Nice.
really, really good. So I mean,
I think
we
it's
pick on you a
fun.
lot about it, but it is probably gonna make you really.
I'm
better
really
for it.
stoked for whenever posing classes start because that, dude, I fucking love it. It's such a
Yeah.
good workout.
It's a lot of fun to coach.
Like, even if you don't compete, you should still go
Yeah.
try out a posing class, like, just see what it's about. Learn how to, like, use your mind to control your muscles and not just push the weight around.
yeah, it'll help training too.
Oh, it's a good workout too.
Oh,
I just
Yeah,
drenched
if you want to be a
afterwards. Oh my
bodybuilder,
God.
just see if you can come hold some poses for 2 minutes.
Right.
See how
You
miserable
gotta teach a
it can
class on how to pose in the bathroom mirror too.
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
it's all about
the
the
angles.
angles.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Dude, you kill those ankles.
I've been doing that same side bicep.
The Craig Goliath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right. But sometimes you can't fake it. So I'm like,
Yeah.
even if you got the good angle and it, you can't always just use the angle.
He
But
is
I just
actually
emphasize.
really big, but
I
he has
actually
really
am.
good angle too. Like, there's just the bathroom selfie. Good to go.
I think so. That was a good.
Alright.
That was a good one. I had a lot of fun. I laughed a lot on this one.
Yep. Cool.
Shit.
3 claps.
Give us 3 claps, Ryan.
Peace.
Nice.